the story of David?
Huh?
Wow, I'm surprised.
So what?
Okay, let's just say, anybody know the ride that is at Six Flags called Goliath?
Oh yeah!
Okay. Goliath. It's all coming together now. Six Flags, giant. Oh, David. Okay. Little bit to explain to you the story a little bit better. David. Just this little poor little ghetto shepherd boy. What's a ghetto? Most of you guys are familiar with the term ghetto, right?
Yes.
Most of you, anybody here grow up in any hoods in the ghetto?
No, what?
Alright. Alright, so you know what I'm talking about when I talk about ghetto. Should I say ghetto? Is that better?
Yeah, ghetto.
Okay. So for those of you that grew up, I'm starting to talk about it. Oh, those of you that ever grew up in the ghetto, you know what it's all about. Okay, focus. Maybe I shouldn't say ghetto because then all of a sudden you guys are like, oh my gosh, one time when I was growing up, someone shot at me, blah, blah, blah. Mom said get down and she threw me on the floor. Keep all personal stories to yourself. But David was a boy grown up on the ghetto. He grew up on the ghetto and all of a sudden this man, his name was Samuel, God told him, I want you to find a king at Jesse's house. Jesse's just this guy. You don't have to know every character, just know their names. It's cool. So he went to Jesse's, please, no questions, please. He went to him. And when he went to him, Samuel's like, look, I know there's a guy at your house. One of your sons, one of your kids is going to be king. Of course, Jesse's like, all right, cool. You know, one of my sons is going to be king. I mean, he's going to be king. Like, yeah, he's going to be king. I don't know if any of you, you guys, like, your parents came up to you and they were like, hey, one of your parents, like, one of you guys are going to be king. You guys were like, oh, I know it's me. It's me. It's me. So all of a sudden, Jesse goes and he goes and tells all of his kids. Every one of them tells him, look, this guy, I don't know, he's talking some crazy mess. But he said that one of you guys is going to be king. So all of a sudden, they got all ready. I mean, they got ready. And they're like, I'm going to meet this guy. I'm going to look good. So they went out there, and I could just imagine how it would be. Because, see, we'll just pretend Samuel, he's over there. And all of a sudden, they lined up over here, and it was like fashion show week.
No, they look straight and then they turn. Yeah.
And each one of them, Samuel went up to him. Samuel went up to him and was like, he had this thing of oil. And he went up to them, and nothing would come out. Alright, it's not that one. And the next one would come by, the next one would come up, and this one looked good. This one was the person. I mean, it had to be the person. Each one of them, they looked good. They were tall. I mean, what do you guys like? Tall, slender, charming, whatever you guys like. I'm going to look at your MySpace later, and whatever you guys like, this was the guy. Six-pack abs, busting out there with all ripping out of his shirt. Went up there, and each one of them, Samuel went like this. And nothing was coming out. Nothing could come out. Every time, every son, Samuel kept saying that this one has to be it. This one has to be it. Finally, the last son rolls up. Looking good, everything. Okay. Samuel says, this one has to be it. There's no more left. This one has got to be it. He goes. All right, God, this thing doesn't work. I don't know if... There were no Walmarts at the time, so they couldn't go back and say, Walmart, can I take this back? Obviously, this oil is broken. They couldn't go back to Target. They couldn't return it. So obviously, there was something wrong. And God tells Samuel one of the greatest things he could ever speak to anybody. And he said, don't look like man looks. For man looks on the outward appearance. Man looks what's on the exterior. Because most of you guys see somebody and you aren't looking at anything inside of them. You aren't looking how smart or intelligent you are. You're looking at, are they hot? None of you have to lie. Will do have you ever all over again and let me question, how many of you guys look at personality? And I bet you 90% of you would not be anybody that's looking at personality. But God said, I don't want you to look at what he looks like on the outward appearance. I don't care if he's tall. I don't care if he's fat. I don't care if he's short. I don't care what he looks like. But look at the heart. Samuel looked across all of them. Said, obviously, these aren't the ones. Jesse, you have another son. Anybody else? Jesse looks back and is like, dang it. I got one more. But I don't know if you've seen David. I don't know if you heard about David, but David, he's just a little shepherd boy. And in fact, there's no way this guy, this little scrub, can be the one. This guy is never going to be it. And some of you guys can know what David felt like. To never be accepted, to never be the one, to never be chosen by your parents, your family members. Many of you guys know what it feels like sometimes to be left out of the situation. Some of you guys know what it feels like when teachers say you'll never make it, you'll never amount to anything, you're going to be a loser and nobody. Many of you guys in this room know what it feels like to say you're never going to amount to anything, you're a nobody. Your dad was a drug addict, your mom was an alcoholic. What do you think you're going to be? You had a list of things that were so much against you, so much things that were built up against you to say, you're not the one. You are not the one, you're not the person. Throughout life, statistics have shown you, since you are grown up in the ghetto, statistics have already proved. Born in the ghetto, what they say, you can take the boy out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto. Statistics have already said, you are not going to be it. You cannot make it. You're never going to be that person. There have been people in your life who have stood up to you and said, look, you're pretty smart, but just not good enough. There have been boyfriends and girlfriends in your life that said, you know what? You're okay, but you're not the one. There have been times in your life, over and over and over again. For some of you, it's been not just one experience, but it's been an ongoing experience that you have to fight every day of your life. Every time you wake up in the morning and go to school, you're faced with the fact that, it's not me. I can't make it. I'm not going to be able to do it. David wasn't even chosen by his own parents. His own dad didn't even think that he was eligible enough to be king. And some of you know what it feels like because your brothers and sisters, they get everything. And you're saying, what about me? They were supposed to be this, they were supposed to be that. I'm sorry, honey. He's the smart one. And, you're special. You're just a special, and you're good, you're cool, but you're not your brother, you're not your sister. It's a lifestyle for some of you. Some of you guys, it wasn't just a day, it was your lifestyle. It's a continuous lifestyle that you have to wake up in the mornings at times and say, I'm just not the one, I'm not accepted, I'm not loved. And you look for love in so many different places. There was something unique about David, though. Instead of going out into seeing other things, David just did what his father said.